That cold night, Elias was alone in the small wooden house. The old radio turned on low. The soft and trembling voice cut through the air like a sweet dagger. He froze. His heart stopped. His hands trembled. That voice he had heard humming at night, that had soothed their sick daughter, that had sworn eternal love under the light of a candle. It was her. After so many years of silence, of pain and of distance, Sophia was speaking on the radio, and he knew in that second that love was still breathing. This scene moves me deeply because it shows how true love does not fade with time or with distance. Sometimes life separates us in a cruel way, but the voice of the one we love can cross any barrier and give us back hope. It is a reminder that fidelity and unity are worth every tear. If you also feel your heart tighten with stories like this, subscribe to the channel, leave your comment telling what moved you the most, and turn on the notification bell. Now, prepare your heart. Here is the complete story you asked for. Elias and Sophia met while still young, in a simple village where the sun rose early and the nights were quiet. He was a man of few words, calloused hands, and a firm heart. She had a smile that lit up any difficult day and a sweet voice that calmed even the storms. Together, they built a modest life, but full of meaning. They married with simple and sincere promises. Fidelity, unity, and love until the end. Clara was born, the daughter who completed the home. Elias worked from sunrise to sunset in the fields and in the small jobs of the region. Sophia took care of the house, the girl, and still found time to sew and help the neighbors. At night, after dinner, they sat near the low fire. Sophia sang softly for Clara to fall asleep, and Elias listened in silence with a full heart. That voice was his safe harbor. There were nights when the girl fell ill and cried without stopping. Sophia took her daughter in her arms, rocked her with patience, and sang the same songs. As always, Elias, even exhausted from work, stayed by their side, holding his wife's hand and stroking Clara's hair. In those moments, he felt that nothing in the world was more important than that small family. Their love was not made of big words, but of daily gestures. The coffee prepared before dawn, the knowing look in the morning, the simple prayer before sleeping. But life tested the strength of that love. A long drought destroyed the crops. The money ran out. The debts grew. Elias, with a heavy chest, decided to leave for a distant region where there was hard work and a slightly better salary. Sophia cried, but she did not stop him. She hugged him tightly and whispered, "Go. We will wait for you, me and Clara, every day." He left with the small suitcase and the promise to return. In the first months, letters arrived. Sophia described Clara's growth, the difficult days, but always ended with the same words. "We remain firm. We love you. Come. Back soon." Elias read those letters under an improvised roof, far from and felt the pain of distance mixed with the certainty that love still united them. Sometimes, in the middle of the night, he closed his eyes and tried to hear Sophia's voice singing again. It was as if that melody crossed the distance and reminded him that there was still a home waiting for him. Each letter was an invisible thread that tied him to the life he had left behind. And even when the tiredness hurt in his bones, he got up the next day with the same determination to work, to save whatever he could, and to return to the arms of the woman and the daughter he loved so much. Time passed. The letters became rarer. Then they stopped arriving. Elias wrote, sent the little money he managed to gather, but never received an answer. Anxiety turned into anguish. Anguish turned into fear. And fear, little by little, turned into a deep suffering that he carried alone. He imagined the worst. Had Sophia fallen ill? Did Clara need him and he was not there? Had her love grown tired of waiting? But deep in his chest, a stubborn voice insisted. She promised. She is faithful. She is waiting. The days became the same and heavy. Elias worked to exhaustion so he would not think. At night, he lay down and listened to the wind hitting the walls. He remembered Sophia's voice singing. He remembered the smell of Clara's hair. He remembered her hands intertwined with his. Loneliness hurt. Uncertainty hurt even more. At certain moments, he knelt and asked for strength. He did not ask for big miracles. He asked only not to lose hope, to continue being faithful to the promise he had made. There were days when the tiredness was so great that he almost gave up. He sat alone after work, looked at the horizon, and felt his chest tighten. How many times did he think of returning with nothing in his hands? How many times did the voice of doubt whisper that perhaps it was already too late? But every time the darkness tried to win, he remembered Sophia's gaze on the day of departure. He remembered the way she held Clara and said, with a firm voice, despite the tears, "We will wait for you." Those words became an anchor. He got up, washed his face, and went back to work the next day, carrying the pain as one carries a sacred burden. Meanwhile, on the other side of the distance, Sophia faced her own storm. Clara's illness came suddenly. Sleepless nights, worries, bills that did not close, she wrote. But the letters got lost along the way. The money Elias sent sometimes did not arrive. Sophia never thought of giving up. She kept talking to her daughter about the father. "He'll come back. Your father is a man of his word. He loves us." Clara, even small, learned the meaning of waiting and of faith. And Sophia, on the most difficult nights, held the girl's hand and whispered the same songs from before, as if the voice could cross the distance and reach Elias. There were dawns when the girl's fever would not go down and fear tightened Sophia's throat. She cried in silence so as not to frighten the girl, but she never let hope escape. She kept every letter she managed to send, every prayer, every memory. On some days, when loneliness hurt too much, she sat at the door of the house and stayed looking at the path where Elias had left, as if the strength of her gaze could shorten the distance. And even when the body asked for rest, the heart remained firm in the promise of unity and fidelity. Years passed. Elias was no longer the same man who had left. His face marked, his hands harder, his gaze more tired, but his heart still beat for the same love. One night, after an especially heavy day, he turned on the old radio that someone had left in the lodging. He was looking only for a little noise to drive away the silence. The stations passed. Music, news, boring programs, until a female voice, serene and a little trembling, began to speak. It was a program of messages and stories of people who were waiting for someone. The voice read letters sent by listeners, told accounts of love and of waiting. Elias almost turned it off, but something in that tone held him. The woman spoke calmly. "This message is from a mother and a daughter who have been waiting for years. They ask that if the man who left to work far away is still listening, he know that their love remains firm, that the promise made under the light of a candle was never broken, that the daughter grew up hearing stories of the father, and that the wife still sings the same songs every night, waiting for the day when the door will open again." The voice broke. She continued, "If you are out there, if you still remember our simple home, if you still remember my smile and the voice that soothed our little girl, know that we never gave up. I remained faithful. I remained united to you in every prayer, in every tear, in every ope. Come back. We are here." Elias fell to his knees. The tears fell without control. He recognized it at once. That voice, the same voice that sang for Clara, the same voice that had sworn eternal love. It was Sophia. He needed no more words. His heart shouted her name. The suffering of years dissolved into a long and liberating cry. In that instant, the pain, the waiting, the loneliness, everything turned into certainty. 4 long minutes he stayed there, on his knees, listening to the silence that came after the message. The radio remained on, but he no longer heard anything else. Only her voice echoed inside his chest. He got up unsteadily, as if the ground had moved. He packed a few things he had into an old suitcase, counted the money that was left, and, still in that same dawn, began to prepare to leave. He could not sleep. He lay looking at the ceiling, going over every word, every tone, every piece of the song Sophia used to sing, and that now returned with force in his memory. The next day he resigned. The boss looked at him with strangeness, but Elias only thanked him and left. The journey back was long and tiring. He walked, hitched rides, slept in precarious places. On every night of the road, he closed his eyes and heard the voice on the radio again. At every dawn, he felt his heart closer to home. The fear of arriving and finding no one still existed, but hope was now stronger than fear. When he finally arrived at the village, the sun was already low. The house was still there, simple as he remembered. The door opened. Sophia appeared. Clara, already older, ran first. The three embraced in the middle of the path. There were not enough words, only the crying, the stronghold, and the relief of those who finally found what love had kept. Elias kissed Sophia's forehead and whispered, his voice breaking, "I recognized your voice, and I knew at once that it was you." She smiled through the tears, holding his face with both hands. "I knew you would hear. I never stopped speaking with my heart turned toward you. Every night, I sang as if you were listening, and now you are here." Clara hugged them both tightly. Crying, that night, the house came back to life. The songs returned to echo, and the love, which had never been broken, now shone stronger, forged in the fire of waiting, of pain, and of fidelity. This story teaches us that true love is not made only of happy moments. It is made of waiting, of pain, of nights without answer, and of a fidelity that refuses to die. Elias and Sophia show us that true unity survives distance, silence, and suffering. The voice he recognized on the radio was not just a sound. It was the living proof that the heart of the one who loves keeps speaking, even when everything seems lost. May we never give up on those we love. May we have the courage to wait with hope and the humility to return when the voice of love calls us. Because, in the end, what remains truly great in this life is the love that stayed faithful. If this story touched your heart, leave your comment telling which part moved you the most. Subscribe to the channel, share it with someone who needs hope, and stay with us. Stories like this exist to remind us that true love is still worth it.